Greetings, I hope this finds you well. Just wanted to do a little more commentary on the whole kind of Julian Assange situation. So something that I found very refreshing was that on, I believe it was on Chris Matthews' show, he interviewed Tulsi Gabbard, Congresswoman from Hawaii, who's also running for president on the Democrat side for 2020. And as far as I can tell, she's the only one who has come out and defended or kind of spoken out for Julian Assange, and really talking about how this sets a very, very troubling precedent for, journalism, for freedom of the press, for freedom of speech. And unfortunately, as far as I can tell, at least of the kind of more mainstream candidates, she's the only one who has spoken out about this, incredibly important issue. And frankly, I'm very kind of disappointed, and I don't know if ashamed is too strong a word, maybe not, by Bernie Sanders' lack of any type of message or comment on such an important issue. And I suppose I understand why he hasn't spoken out against this, because it's seen as maybe political hot button issue or something like that. But I mean, a free press prosecuting a journalist for leaking classified information just sets us further down the road to a totalitarian, authoritative state, which isn't a good thing. And silence is oftentimes complicity, and unfortunately, Bernie's silence on this issue speaks volumes. It seems like he's more concerned about scoring, political points, as opposed to talking about such an important issue, because maybe he thinks, this might piss off or upset, some moderate blue dog Democrats, or moderate Republicans, or something like that. But that shouldn't matter. Just like, Tulsi Gabbard, she's also, running for president, and has been consistently calling, out the problems of our military-industrial complex, and now speaking up for Julian Assange and the rights for a free and independent press, and not for prosecuting journalists or whistleblowers, as in the case of, Chelsea Manning. So, Bernie, get your shit together, man. This is such an important thing, and it'd be so powerful for you to speak up on this topic. And it's, like I said, first they came for journalists, and I forgot exactly what the line was, but first they came for the journalists, and then, we didn't know what was going on, or something to that effect. Because, when the government tries to censor or punish those who release information about the crimes and atrocities that our government is perpetrating, which is what WikiLeaks and Julian Assange did in Iraq and Afghanistan. They have that footage of that Apache helicopter just gunning down civilians and children, and 2 Reuters journalists. That stuff would have never saw the light of day, and that actually releasing that document, I believe it was Kyle Kulinski of Secular Talk, he pointed out, once that document was released, it led to us I think, either drawing down our troops more in Iraq or not sending back as more. It was something like that. So it had a big impact on our kind of foreign policy going forward, and that's why this type of stuff is so important and powerful, because it exposes the ugly side of our empire, and obviously, you know, the powers that be, both Republican and Democrat, largely, they support, you know, empire and endless wars, because they're also in the pocket of the military-industrial complex, which is very powerful in the United States. So being able to have journalists and, you know, news organizations release this type of information is so important in order to be able to keep the government accountable to us, the people who they're supposed to be representing and serving. And like any conscious and sane person, when Chelsea Manning found out about that stuff, as her having, you know, a very clear conscience and, you know, ethical framework, she was like, you know, this is some really messed up stuff going on. I think at least the American people should know about that. And that's why she was, you know, imprisoned and tortured, which was later, or her sentence was commuted by Obama. And then even Obama, you know, realized he probably wanted to prosecute WikiLeaks and Julian Assange, but he realized what a dangerous precedent that would set for, you know, journalism and a free press and freedom of speech in this country. So he decided not to. But the Trump administration has decided otherwise. So message to Bernie and all the other, you know, political actors with any type of moral framework or respect for our Constitution, for the free press, you know, respect for journalistic integrity and speaking truth to power. These people really need to be speaking up on this issue. And that includes you, Bernie. Tulsi Gabbard is her platform and policy, along with her vociferous, you know, defense of Julian Assange, as well as calling out, you know, the problems of our empire, is, yeah, just looking more and more promising every day. So what are your thoughts on the lack of comment from Bernie and these other, you know, Democratic 2020 presidential candidates? I could be wrong, but to my understanding, Tulsi Gabbard is the only one that I have heard from speak up in defense of Julian Assange. As a journalist, all he did was publish classified documentation, him and WikiLeaks, which he is a co-founder of, which, excuse me, again, is something that many news organizations have done in the history of the United States, and they have never been persecuted for it. So obviously you can see there's some political motivations behind this. And as I said, WikiLeaks and Julian Assange, they exposed some really messed up stuff that our government was doing, both on the left and the right. And so that's why they're going after him so hard. Hopefully we can keep the pressure up, and hopefully he won't be extradited to the United States. He's not even a U.S. citizen. He is actually from Australia, I believe. So we like to talk up that we're all about freedom and democracy and the rule of law when it serves us, but however, whenever that comes into conflict, with the powers that be. They just pay lip service to that, unfortunately. But would love to hear your thoughts on this subject. Let's remember to be kind to each other, to the animals, to the planet, and ourselves. Peace out.